Don't mind the look on my face. My face is a little shiny this morning. Yeah, because I rubbed some very, very, shiny substance on my face. So don't mind my look this morning, okay? But I want to talk racism this morning because, I think that's been the topic people have been talking about for years. So I think it's only right for me to just air my opinion. For me, looking at racism from a distance, I can tell you that racism started, or racism has been in existence for years. But I think it became more very, very, very active at a time when white folks were the hams of affairs. And because they were the hams of affairs, they had the power to do so many things to black people. They had the power, they had the authority. They can take decisions and say, okay, you know what? These black folks, we're going to sentence them to jail. They can do a lot of things at a time. And this didn't go down well with a lot of black folks. And, they were at a very, very, very powerful state at a time. They occupy significant positions in America, and they've always occupied significant positions in America because, the white folks are considered to be the be-all and end-all of America. They always tell you that black folks came to their own country and America still belongs to white folks. And so people talk about white supremacy. I think that is where it stems from. It stems from the fact that some white folks believe that America belongs to them and not the black folks, and for that reason, they can really boss over the black folks. Every time there's a little bit of altercation, there's a friction, they want to win. They always want to win. So this is exactly what's playing out. But as they always say, when you keep doing something to somebody over and over again, it's going to get to the saturation point where the person don't feel bad anymore and the person get accustomed to it. For me, I think that's a very dangerous point. And I think that's where the black folks are at right now with racism in America. They've gotten to a saturation point. They're not scared of racism. They're not scared of the treatment anymore. They've been around and they've been dealt with several times, and they don't care whatever the white folks do to them right now. And I think that's what it's playing out. So it's just like a little kid. When a kid does something bad, and you spank the child today, spank the child for the same cause the next day, third time, fourth time, it gets to a point where the child doesn't fear anymore. It's not scared of that stuff anymore. It doesn't fear. And it's saying to himself, man, I can do whatever I want to do. I'm not going to take more than two spikes or three spanks, That's exactly what racism does to people sometimes. It gets to the point where people are accustomed to the pain. And when people get accustomed to the pain, it's a dangerous point. And, this is exactly what's playing out. So people can talk about racism from now to kingdoms come. Or, I know people, every time anytime you want to go viral right now, all you need to do is talk about racism. And people are going to be streaming you live. Because that's the only way to go viral. So people are making content out of racism. People are making money off this topic. So I think that we can put an end to this once and for all because of its effect on community and what it's doing. Because it seems like it's endless. It's never going to stop. But we can mitigate the spread of racism by just employing these two strategies I'm about to speak on right now. First and foremost, I think that let the black folks deal with the black folks themselves. In other words, what I'm saying is let the black cop arrest the black man. Let the black judge preside over judgment on the black man's case. Let the white man deal with the white man. Let the white cop arrest the white criminal, and let a white judge sentence the white criminal. If we have that in place, I think it's going to mitigate racism to some extent. Because right now, we have people who have developed hatred for white folks, even when the white folks haven't done anything wrong to them. Because I don't want to believe, because the worst thing that can ever happen to humanity is to generalize. A lot of people are very good at generalizing right now. People would say, oh, the black folks are bad. All black folks are bad. All white folks are bad. This is wrong, man. I do not love to generalize because I believe that there are a lot of positive white folks out there who have done great things for black people. There are a lot of white folks who have championed the cause of freedom for black people. There are a lot of white folks who have set up organizations, set up corporations, companies, employed black folks, and have given them a decent shot of life. So we cannot throw those kind of people under the bus. We cannot just say, oh, all white folks are bad. But because of the treatment black folks have gotten from the white folks in past years and recent times, some black folks have developed hatred for all white folks, which is a wrong effect right there. I wish that could be stopped right now with immediate effect. I feel like we can stop that. We can stop hating on white folks who haven't done us any wrong, and we can just address the system that put us right here. I'm speaking from Africa anyway, but I feel the pain of the black folks and I feel the pain of the white folks too, because I love both. I don't hate anybody. I love white folks and I love black folks. Growing up as a kid, I've met a lot of white people who are very nice. Growing up as a kid, when we live in America, a lot of white folks be very nice to us. I never had any problem with them white folks, okay? So I don't know where the racism thing coming from. For me, I never experienced that because probably I didn't live in America for so long. But living there as a kid, I never had the problem of racism. I had a friend by the name Michael. He was a white dude. Never had a problem. We got along real cool. So I don't know where this is coming from. When I hear people talk about it, well, I can only feel your pains because for me, I wasn't in that shoe at all. I don't know exactly what it feels like. But my father, who stayed in America for more than 20 some years, can talk about it. He said some few things about racism. This is not to eradicate the fact that there are no racists in America. There are racists in America. I understand there are racists in America, but this is not to generalize by saying everybody's a racist. And I think that the black folks have gotten to the point right now that everything they're doing is just trying to paint some innocent white folks black as racist, and this is not true at all times. So I think that we can really solve this problem if you allow the black folk to deal with a black man and allow a white man to deal with a white man. Not like we don't have racism in Nigeria as well, because we have tribalism, we have religious bigotry. We have all these problems too in Nigeria, but while we deal with it is we don't interfere in other people's personal business. Like if we have somebody from one tribe doing this thing, somebody from another tribe does not have the right to interfere and tell us how to do it. This is how we deal with ourselves right here. So if you can employ the same policy in America, I think America will mitigate racism. Let the black cop arrest the black man. Let the black judge sentence a black man. If you can allow that to reign in America, there will be no problem of racism. But if there must be a white judge who would preside over the affairs of a black man, he must be a white judge with no history of racism. He must be a white judge who had done his bit to really mitigate racism. He must not make utterances. He must not have done things. You are going to do a background check on whoever is going to preside over the affairs of a black man, being a white man. And if a black man would speak on or preside over the affairs of a white man, the same thing should apply to him right now. You must check the exercise. You must check the history of the black man. If he has committed anything that could warrant you being called or being called a racist, or if he has said anything that could really, really be considered racist, you can actually have him removed. So allow people who are liberal to preside over the affairs of another race. But before that, you have to really check the excesses of a lot of people out there. I think if we can employ these policies by allowing black folks to do the job and white folks deal with each other, I think that will mitigate racism. But what y'all think about that?